Hi everyone, I just want to do a very quick video on stacked liquidity. So it's not a composite, but it's stacking to confirm price going higher. So how I set it up, I'll go to the 4-hour first. So initially I set it on that, a large buy candle for the 4-hour. And then you get a 50% in there, and you'd be wanting price to tag that. That being said, it didn't really give a 50% rule on that, and also the closes were a lot different. Like, so you have the open and close here, and you have the open and close here, and then the open and close here. So I didn't really like this price action. So it didn't give a good read for me. So this was more appropriate on the 1 hour. So in here, I'll just come back and we'll go to the 5 minute. Yeah. So with that, it's more a liquidation candle with that wick as well. But what I found with the 1 hour, and we'll get out of this replay, is that this is more liquidation. This seems to be a better indication of liquidity itself because it's more a proper buying candle. You could do the 50% rule on that as well. And then you have confirmation in there. But orders below here are more liquidations than anything, not actual buy orders. So I set the bottom of the box on this wick and then the top on this close to incorporate both, because it's people are uncertain around this area. So there's a lot of orders stacking in here. And then you can use this close and open as the point in where you would put the top of the box. So it came up and then it came back down again and tested the 50% exactly. So we can do the 50% rule again. And then you get that in here as well. But we'll go back to the 1 hour. I mean, so you could do a composite as well in here. So you have the composite in here, and then you'd be like, well, and see, you get a 50% touch in there. And then you'd be like, well, is it going to run it back or is it not? And then you could pull it right back here, and then you get a 50% touch with this liquidity being tested. And then, yeah, it just depends how you want to set it up, but it's more the point. My thinking is considering that composite liquidity, as you move liquidity, as you take in all the liquidity that's being put in, as it is on the 1 hour candles, and then you get an adjusted 50%. It's more the point the 50% continues to go down and it is getting tested. So with here, say, in this bottom, so it blows through there, you get acceptance. So I think that's where I put that the top of the box on this wick. but it didn't sweep this area here, which was the thing. So we're getting higher closes as well, despite getting a wick down through the 50% as well, which is the indicative of people having motivation to buy price higher, or sorry, buy with a higher price. So you get consistent buying pressure with the higher closes. You get lower close, higher close, higher close, higher close, higher close, and then higher close in here. And then the wicks are indicative of the testing. So, and then you could put it down here, but it may not be representative of that. So I'd probably put it on this close as well, and then didn't get down to this 50%. As I said before, this is probably not, this liquidation candle is probably not representative of actual orders. So I'd probably put it like that, or here. And if you do that, as you can see, so you get that perfect 50% tag. And this is the thing to consider, the biggest thing, where actual liquidity and resting orders are compared to actual liquidation orders, and the wick itself. So even if, let's say, you have responsive buying in the bottom here, up here, and you're like, well, I can put it here because it's more responsive buying, putting an SFP in here versus here. So you didn't get a mousetrap, you don't get an SFP, you just get a high low essentially, with people being responsive in the bottom, protecting these orders here. So you could say, well, that would be a reasonable area to put 50%, to look for 50%, which it did swing and test, but you get high closes. So that would be the area in which you would want to take an order. You'd have to be quick with it though, because I would assume that, yes, it would just be a 1 minute high volume candle. So that would be the entry for the 50% rule of liquidity. So if we go back here as well, like I was saying, you could put the responsive buying in here. You obviously have responsive buying in here as well. So you have the liquidation candle here, and then you have responsive buying with high volume. So that would probably be the area in which you would want to see, and put the actual bottom of the box on. So with that, it just got to the 50% and then ran it back up with high volume. So that would be the order in which I would want. And then we're going to 50% of the top liquidity for the 1 hour in the top. So we get a perfect 50% test of that at the moment on the Asia session, 30 minutes into it. So let's say from just prior to the New York PM session, nearly 1%. There we go. You're getting the perfect rejection off that liquidity now for the 1 hour. And then we're getting high volume as well. Whether it does reverse from here is going to be interesting. We'll go to the 5 minute quickly. So we get a bear div here, and then we're getting another pivot. So is it likely to reverse? Potentially, there's high probability with that 50% tag, especially with, we'll go to the 3 minute. We get high volume on the 3 minute, and then obviously high volume on the 1 minute. But the main thing that I was wanting to demonstrate was the stacked liquidity. So you get multiple 50% tests of liquidity. So we have the initial bottom put in, and then we have the test around here. And obviously doing a composite liquidity in here, you get a 50% tag there too. But this would be the area in which the bulk of the liquidity, untouched liquidity, I would want to be seeing tagged at 50% with high volume, either on the 1, 3, or 5 minute. Then you have a massive buying candle as well, tagging the 50%. And then you get a double confirmation here as well on this one too. So you'd wait for this to be tagged and then this liquidity to be tested at 50%. And then you get another confirmation at 9 o'clock with Asia open. And you can see how it's continually stacked in there. So I would rather bring that here, lock that in place. So you get that 50%, you get this order in, this hour in, you get another 50%, and then this hour in, and then you get another 50% confirmation, high closes on the 5 minute, tag into the 50%, and then a reversal on just after Asia open at 9 o'clock. So yeah. And then we get the reversal on the 50% liquidity. Whether that actually happens is another story. So another factor to consider is daily resistance. So we've got the close and open here, and then stack liquidity in the top as well. Multiple time frames. You also have daily liquidity, which I should put in there as well. Daily. I'll probably put it in as that. Anyway, but that is a real time example of the 50% rule and being stacked for putting in higher lows. So I hope this gives you a good insight into price action, particularly with people protecting orders in the bottom. Obviously, this is the case with orders in the top as well. And you get 50% rules. Also, it's more common with composite liquidity on the same time frame, incorporating multiple candles. But you have to be discretionary with that as well. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it.